How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about Tales from the Darkside. This is Season 2, Episode 14, and this one's entitled Dream Girl. This is from January 19th, 1986, and is directed by Timna Ranon. This episode stars Carolyn Seymour, John Cedar, and Lou Cutell. The teleplay was written by the director, Timna Ranon, based on a story by Barbara Paul. Really quick, brief, non-spoilery plot synopsis. We open up with this girl. She's a serious director. Got the short haircut, and she's talking with someone on the phone, and you can tell she's upset. You see, she's doing a play, and she's on the set, and apparently the play's writer has gone missing, as well as a couple other people. So people are going mysteriously missing, and that's going to upset her because she needs to do her job. She turns and she sees a janitor working on the set, or well, rather not working on the set. He's sitting there reading a magazine with an article about a missing celebrity, and they think she's run off with some guy. The director tells him to get back to work in a little bit of an angry tone, and he gets up and starts sweeping and stares at her. Then we cut away, and all of a sudden, the girl who was dressed in a serious outfit with her short haircut, all of a sudden, she's inside the world of the stage play that they were just producing. It still looks like a set. You can see the backdrop and stuff, but now it's the whole world, and she's dressed in a German waitress outfit with a big curly wig. You know, so she is inside the world of the play, and all of a sudden, a tray appears in her hands, and she's forced to go and be the waitress role. She kind of can't control her movements, and the janitor that she just yelled at is there as the patron with the movie star as his girlfriend, and he starts to belittle her and gets the manager involved, and the manager is actually the missing writer guy who he will kind of, you know, yell at and get fired, and he'll become like a shoestring salesman. Yeah, the characters go through a few different scenarios, you know, all these scenarios where the janitor, who no one really cared for, is in power. He's either the hero or he's the one that's able to yell at or belittle the other characters. However, there's some time between the scenes when they all return to their regular roles, and they quickly discuss that, yeah, they've gotten sucked out of reality and into the janitor's sort of revenge fantasy, and they have to figure out how to get out. So yeah, that title, a little misleading. I don't know, maybe the story worked out in a different way that this is based on, but you hear the title Dream Girl, you expect this to be about like dating or something, but no, this is a stage play. In fact, I said girl because the title, but she's really more of a grown woman, and yeah, a girl in a dream, it's a dream girl, I guess, whatever. But anyway, I mentioned this last time, is that when I was scrolling through IMDb to do the research, I saw that this episode had a pretty shockingly low IMDb rating, and yeah, this isn't one of the better episodes, but I don't know, IMDb, their ratings for these episodes are kind of weird, and this is not a great episode. It does have flaws, but it's not one of the show's worst episodes. Comet Watch that just came before this, that one was a bad episode. This one is just not great, and I think the best way to describe it is, you know how when you're watching a TV show and it's like a standard episode of a TV show, but for whatever reason everything is just kind of firing and the characters are just kind of popping and it sucks you in more than it really should? This is kind of the opposite of that, where There's nothing really super wrong, but it's just kind of off and just kind of doesn't work. And I do have a few points to analyze on that. But at first, I do want to say the strength is in the concept with this one, and I really do like the concept, probably more than the execution, but it's a nice anthology horror concept, and really, you could see this in any anthology horror show. This could have been an episode of The Twilight Zone. The idea of we're a cast of characters, and we're trapped in some unusual trap, and we have to get out, but there's a guy, and he's got all this power over us, and we have to figure out how to escape this sort of magical being. He's not really, I don't know what, he's not magical, I don't know how he can do this, but anyway, it's a classic anthology show concept, and as an audience, it's easy for it to be a hook for us, you know, and it's a good enough concept, you know, if we're all being honest, the idea of a revenge fantasy actually playing out, it's a pretty good hook. We all have, you know, at the very least, you know, we get in some minor altercation with someone, we're on the drive home going, I wish I had said that. I would have really have owned him if I had thought of saying that. And sometimes just stupider, bigger stuff, but the idea that if you could actually trap someone in there, yeah, it gets kind of disturbing and, you know, messed up. But I do wish it played out better. For example, one of the big things is how the dream works. You know, dreams are done really well sometimes, and, you know, you could do some really surreal imagery or some crazy messed up stuff that you couldn't do in reality. But in this episode, the dream is just kind of cheesy, you know? There's several silly slow motion shots, and there's also whenever they get controlled, they kind of become like robots, you know, putting their hands up, kind of walking around like they're in Wes Craven's Deadly Friend a little bit, but doing the standard, oh, I'm being controlled, and yeah, just the dream looks more cheesy than anything. But also, the big problem, how you dole out pieces and clues. You know, this should be a mystery that slowly unravels, and really, they kind of do two talks, you know. They talk more than this, but they're two key conversations. One where they go, hey, I think we're in a fantasy, and the second where they go, hey, I think this is how we can get out of there. And then that's pretty much all your key important scenes. It's not doled out slowly enough, and it's not doled out in little interesting pieces enough, and it's just sort of like, you know, when they get to the solution, which I won't spoil, it's just like, yeah, I guess that will work. Why not? I guess, sure. And the thing is, you know, with this formula for an episode, you have trapped characters there, and the audience kind of wants to play along at home. They want to say, oh, I bet this is happening, or, oh, I bet this is how I could get out. But there's not enough mystery doled out slowly where the audience can't really play along at home, and that's really what you need for something like this. And another thing, too, is the setup with this episode. She has one conversation on the phone, and then she yells at the janitor, and then she's in the dream world. And that goes way too fast, you know? It should have more of a contrast, you know? It should be like, wait, because I remember something from the dream world, this pays off here. And one of the big examples of it is she sees the play's writer, but we don't know that's him because we never saw the writer because we went into the dream so quickly. We knew he was missing, but we didn't know who he was. And you really have to do a good setup if you want to have a good payoff later, but we go into the dreams so quick that it kind of avoids that, you know? So that's, again, another piece in the little details. But also, with this concept, I love the idea of doing a revenge fantasy, and I love the idea of being stuck in the world of a stage play where, you know, you can tell things are a set and not real, but this is the real world, this is reality, and you can't escape it. That's cool, but it really, like, the concept needed to be pushed further, you know? You needed to know that this guy was big and powerful. And you do get a scene where he, like, does a bad fake fist fight with one of the other people who are trapped in the dream. That was entertaining. That was cheesy. But you can tell he's puppeting people around, but you really needed to know that this guy was big and this guy was powerful, and you really couldn't escape him. He needed to be scarier, more powerful, more threatening, you know? And the repercussions needed to be more, you know? Like, when they finally talk to the actress girl, you can tell that she's been stuck for a while and kind of gotten worn down. But I wish that was more, you know? These people should be, like, on the verge of insanity, just being trapped in here and have all their will taken away. And you really needed to see this messed up situation, and you really needed the torture, you know? And I can't help but think, remember that Twilight Zone episode, and it got remade by Joe Dante in the Twilight Zone movie, where there's that little kid and he's all powerful, but because he's a kid and he doesn't know how to control it any better, he gets on this power trip and all his family's just freaking terrified of him? That is a better execution of this concept, and I wish this episode was more like that, you know? He should be absolutely terrifying, and his victims should be absolutely afraid, and it just doesn't go that far. But overall, I like the base concept, and, you know, even though I did complain about stuff for a little bit, this is still a totally watchable episode. It's just not the best thing ever, and I do wish it was better, but it has a good hook. It has a good base concept. It has things that I really like, and, you know, props to Darkside, you know, the stage play world is interesting, but it's also really cheap, so Darkside working through its budget, you know. But it's not the worst thing ever. It just could have been way, way better, and I do wish it was. Give us a better puzzle where we can go, hey, do that, come on, think of that, do this, you know. Give us a better, more intriguing puzzle and mystery, and give us a bigger, badder threat. That really would have made this episode. But as it stands, it's okay. Maybe if we got a remake in the era of CGI where we can really go nuts with dream/fantasy concepts, maybe it would work out better. As it stands, it's totally fine. It's just not great. Anyway, I'll move on to the next episode next time. To everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Tales from the Darkside playlist, and that playlist is actually getting kind of long. I've covered all the past episodes of the show. I did all the Christmas episodes early. I did the Joe Hill comic and a Season 1 overview. So if you want to see me talk about more Darkside, relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.